Yeah. Yeah. Hey, what's up, everyone? And welcome to another video. And I am here to quickly, we'll see how quickly it is. Watch, it's gonna be like a 30-minute video. Talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. The reason why I want to do this quicker than my usual videos, whenever I talk about a movie, which is not very often, but whenever I do, it ends up being like a 30-minute thing. Um, whether it be a Resident Evil movie that nobody cares about or a He-Man show that doesn't have He-Man in it. I, I mean, I know it's not a movie, but I did do a video for that. I usually go on a little too long. So this one I'm going to go a little shorter because we're going to do a spoiler talk for this sometime maybe early next week. Don't worry though. I will be talking spoilers in this just real quick, but we're going to go into it next week. I think Spider-Man No Way Home will still be relevant by the middle of next week. So I think we'll be good. We'll be good. Anyway, so I saw it yesterday. I wanted to wait a little while. I did put up that impressions video, quick impressions, like 30 seconds. I wanted it to be one of those YouTube shorts, so you have to be really quick. So I couldn't really talk about it too much. Yeah. Spider-Man, No Way Home. Yeah. Let's talk about it real quick without spoilers, and then we'll talk about the spoilers just again real quick, not spoiler review. I really had a great time. I saw it in a terrible theater, by the way. There was on the right side of me, there was a kid crying the entire time, which nobody was like speaking up. I was an inch away. It was lucky the baby would cry only like every little while, you know? So it was just like, all right, stop crying, good. And then we get like another 15 minutes of no crying, and then it would cry again. It wasn't like a constant thing, or I would have said something. Nobody said anything too. But I was eventually could tune it out. The screen, we were pretty close to it. Not too close, but there was like, the screen itself was really messed up. Like the center area was really messed up. Like you could see a bunch of scratches, and it was lit too well in the middle, so you could see all the scratches on the screen. I know that's a weird complaint, but it happened. Some people were a little annoying. There was a couple kids behind me that were talking here and there, but they didn't bother me too much. I'm lying. I wanted to strangle them. But even with that theater experience, I had a blast. I really did. I had a great time, and I've been not too fond of the MCU movies this year. I really haven't. Like I thought Black Widow was all right, and then I saw it again, and I was just like, oh, please just wrap it up. I watched that the first time. I was like, yeah, it was all right. It was fun. That was a fun movie. And then I saw it the second time. I'm like, oh god. I wanted it to end. You know, it had some good moments in it, but and of course everybody loves what's her name I'm gonna forget her name. Florence Pugh, is it Pugh? Um, I like I like Poe better. Pew just sounds like smelly, you know. I know everybody loves Shang Chi. I really liked it in the beginning, and then it just like kind of dropped off for me. It really did. That would get me some hate. Eternals. Eternals is like the redheaded stepson. I swear everybody hates that movie, but I was like, I mean, I didn't like it, but I was like, yeah, it was all right, I guess, whatever. Like it was like, I don't know, whatever. I mean, it did not stay in my brain too long, that's for sure. Even though there was a post credit scene that was really hype, um, for me at least, because I can't wait for my boy to show back up with his goddamn sword and his shades. Anyway, and that fucking jacket. Anyway, I am very happy with Spider-Man No Way Home. It was a blast. It was exactly what I wanted from a Spider-Man movie. Tom Holland did a great job. He actually finally became Spider-Man in my eyes. Now again, I never really read a lot of comics, but I used to watch a lot of Spider-Man cartoons growing up. I watched all the Raimi movies, watched the two Webb movies, I guess. Which did they just hire him because his last name was Webb? Like seriously, like I've been asked that question since the Amazing Spider-Man 1 came out. Did they just hire him because 500 Days of Summer is a really good movie, but like no at no point in 500 Days of Summer that I was like this guy should direct Spider-Man. To be fair though, I also saw the killer clown movie called Clown, which John Watts, the director of this and the last two Spider-Man movies, directed, and I never thought, yeah, that part where the clown murders that kid and eats his face, now Spider-Man for sure. I can see it. I wasn't watching Cop Car, another movie directed with Kevin Bacon, going, yeah, now this I could see. Even though there was a lot of good kid actors in there, so maybe I could see the idea there, like, oh, he's really good with kid actors. I guess you know he can get good performances from them. So maybe that's even though Tom Holland wasn't even a kid at the time. I think he was like what, like 20 or something. Whatever. Anyway, so point is that this movie was fun. This movie was a blast. Had some great performances, especially from Tom Holland. I was super impressed by him in this movie. Not that I've ever thought he was a bad actor. I've seen him in other movies where I was like, oh, this guy, he's giving a great performance. The Impossible was one of his first movies, I think, and he was great in that. I highly recommend The Impossible, even though I think there was some whitewashing in there, which is kind of unfortunate because it's based on a true story. But it was still a great movie, very well done. So I mean, I can't really shit on it too much. If as long as you're a good movie, I don't really, I'm not going to completely shun the movie. But yeah, it was a great time. It really was. The humor itself, my only negative really is the humor. The MCU humor is just not on par with what it used to be. Like, I think the last time I laughed a lot in an MCU movie was probably Endgame, which is really weird considering, but considering what happens towards the end of that movie. But and funny enough, if this one was funny, it would still be kind of weird too, because there's a lot of emotional elements in this. But yeah, no, the humor just doesn't really work for me. A lot of it's just not. I thought also Ned was probably the most annoying he's been in these movies. Ned, of course, being Peter Parker's friend. But the relationship between Peter and MJ, I thought was actually really well done. I thought it was better than it was in the last movie. The acting between them two was great. You can tell those two are knocking boots. Which is probably true. Actually, they're probably doing it right now as of recording this video. Oh man, what am I doing? I'm talking about their fucking movie. But yeah, you can tell they have like legit chemistry, which is good. That's the one thing I can say about all the Spider-Man movies we've had so far is that, for the most part at least, the two main leads that are supposed to like each other feel like they actually like each other, which, yeah. That's the one thing I will always say about Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, even if you do not like them, which 2 I enjoy because it's so shit. I still thought those two were great together, and I guess it works out that they were actually together at the time too. So, and a lot of really good action, which is surprising because I haven't been really liking the action in the MCU movies. Shang-Chi had a couple of good ones, mind you, but Black Widow didn't like pretty much any of the action scenes in there. Eternals, not really any. I thought some of the flying stuff was kind of fun, I guess, but yeah, I thought all the action scenes actually in this movie were either fun or inventive or was just hype because of certain things happening. And yeah, the performances from all the villains too. Of course, everybody knows that Alfred Molina showed back up as Doc Ock, Otto Octavius, which they laugh about his name in the movie, which was cringe. He's great, but Willem Dafoe, man, he came back and he fucking owned that role. He is pretty much the main villain, I guess you could say, of the movie, and he does a great job. But I want to give a shout out to Jamie Foxx, who I thought was really fun in the role as Electro. I think he kind of redeemed himself considering how fucking stupid his character was in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I also liked Sandman in it. Thomas Hayden Church showed back up, and actually I really enjoyed his character. And I really, really enjoyed Lizard Man. I was surprised by that, every time he talked, it was just like he might as well just went on a soliloquy about something. And it was really funny watching this lizard man that looked like he's straight out of, like, I don't know, like a video game. Like he's like a villain in a video game. You just not even a villain, like one of the like generic ones you fight. And he's just like talking about like, yes, now it is time for us to depart. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, I thought it was funny. So shout outs to Lizard. I don't think anybody's giving props, but I thought that was funny every time he talked. And Race Fiennes is Ifans. Sorry, not Ray Fiennes. That's the other guy. Reese Ifans is his name. I confuse him because he's also in the Kingsman movie coming out with Ray Fiennes. He's playing Rasputin in it though. Anyway, was a lot of fun. Really had a good time. Sorry, I was looking at my notes. That's why I said looks. But yeah, I really had a good time. But obviously, I'm holding back because I need to talk about it. I really do. So for the next like few minutes, I'm just gonna vent about the spoilers. So if you have yet to see the movie, go see the movie, or don't watch this part until you see the movie, whenever that is, okay? Or if you just don't give a shit, I guess, and continue watching, but I don't recommend that. I recommend you watch it. Okay. I need to get right to it, okay? All right, spoilers again. Giving you time. Maybe you're away from a computer and you're like, oh, you're rushing, come over to pause it or something. I'll give you some time. Maybe you're on your phone and you just woke up at this point and you're like, oh, what's happening? Oh no, he's spoiling it. Oh. I'll give you some. All right. I gave you enough time. you should pause by now. All right, so my boy Matt Murdock showed up. First fucking cameo in the movie, Matt Murdock. What? I was, when they showed the cane, I was like, no fucking way. Not in the same week as Hawkeye. No fucking way. Not even the same week. It was a day later. It was a day later. And it was like, all right, you know what you like. Oh man, and he showed up and he had a great scene. Oh my god, I was so fucking hyped to see Charlie Cox back. I love Daredevil. Such a great show. I think most people love Daredevil, and we're very sad. Of all the series that were on Netflix, I think everybody was the most sad about Daredevil being canceled because Daredevil season 3 was so fucking great. Yeah, so that immediately I was like, oh, anything could happen. It's gonna happen. They're gonna show up later in this fucking movie. There's no way in hell. If Matt Murdock could show up the same week as Kingpin showing up in the Hawkeye series, which maybe I should have prefaced that I was spoiling Hawkeye too, but I'm sure everybody already knows. Then anything can happen. So the movie goes on, and there's a lot of really fun moments. Of course, we get the villains, we get Electro, we get Sandman, we get Green Goblin, Doc Ock. Of course, we have Doctor Strange there, who, by the way, Benedict Cumberbatch did a great job too. He's not in the movie as much as I thought he would be, considering, I mean, not this poster, but all the other posters, he's on the front of it. But yeah, I guess you could say the same thing about like Spider-Man Homecoming, where they had Iron Man on the poster and he shows up as Iron Man for maybe 2 minutes. And also, remember that scene in the original Spider-Man Homecoming trailer where it was Spider-Man and Iron Man swinging? Well, not swinging, you know what I mean? One's flying, one's swinging. And that scene never happened in the movie. You're like, whoa, where the fuck was that scene? I would have loved to see that, actually. Even though I would like to see Spider-Man as his own person, which I guess at the end of Homecoming, he kind of does his own thing, which is cool. I know I say a lot, by the way. I catch myself every time I say it, and I'm like, why the fuck did I say again? Fuck. See? Anyway. Anyway, I said this time. So, of course, next big thing happens. What is the next? Because there's something before, obviously, what happens. There's something else, too. I guess, the next big thing to really happen is the reveal of what the rest of the plot's going to be, which I guess the trailer made it seem like that's what was going to be the case, is that everybody was together at one point, or everybody. Spider-Man's trying to help the villains because he's sad to hear that they die in their regular universes or whatever. So he wants to help them, fix them by getting rid of their, their either supervillain power or whatever. So, which is a little weird. I will say that's probably the weakest part of the story, is that like Spider-Man. I get it. We're in the present day where all of them are in the past. So, and in this world, this crazy, in this MCU world, there's crazy like technology and stuff compared to the other two universes, the Amazing Spider-Man universe and the Raimi universe. But the way he was just like, I'll fix you all, it will just take a little bit. Like, oh, here you go, I got a antidote for the Green Goblin thing. Oh, look, I figured out how to get rid of all your electricity, Electro. Oh, Sandman. Did they even explain Sandman? I don't even remember them saying, oh, I made it so that you're not sand anymore. I was like, what? He was like fixing everybody. Like, here's the lizard one made sense because well, you'll see why later. But that one actually made sense. But and what was the other one? And Doc Ock. That one made sense too. They're just like, well, and then we just gotta get the inhibitor thing chip that exploded. We have to fix that. Which I thought those two made sense. The ones I just said that made sense. The lizard and Doc Ock. The other ones, just them like, oh, just with whatever science. 2 + 2 = 4, and then follow the math, follow the number, whatever. You know how math works. So that stuff was a little bit too like quick. And I felt like the whole fixing of them maybe will be necessary later, but I feel like it won't be that necessary. We'll see. That one I'll leave out because I'm not too sure if it will be necessary. Like them living, will that matter? Because they all are in their own universes anyway. So like, are we supposed to be like, oh, they all live now? Are they gonna? Aren't they setting up a Sinister Six movie? I didn't even think about that. That's probably exactly what they're doing. Anyway, because we didn't get the Sinister Six here. We got the Scary Five, or what the fuck you want to call it. We didn't get no 6. We got 5. Certain person didn't show up in this movie. Let's just say that we all thought would. I mean, I guess they kind of did, but we'll get to that. Anyway, so I guess that was the next big thing. The next big thing after that is a death I was not expecting. I was expecting it during the scene as it was happening. I was like, oh, okay, that's where we're going. But ahead of time, I was not expecting this. The death of Aunt May. I was like, whoa, because at first she gets clobbered by Green Goblin's glider, which by the way, say that 5 times fast. Green Goblin's glider. I can't even say it the second time. Um, and yeah, so she gets clobbered completely, just gets fucking wrecked by it. And I'm like, oh, she's fucking dead. And then she gets up, and I'm like, and she's like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm a little. I was like, what the fuck? There's no way in hell. I mean, I get it. I get it. These superhero movies always treat normal people as if they have superpowers. Sometimes, not always. I shouldn't say that, but a lot of times they do treat them like, oh, they're regular people too. I mean, they're superhuman too. They could fall from great heights and stuff, and they'll be fine. Not every superhero movie, but there's a lot out there that they follow like anime rules. Like if an anime character has like the superpower is they can jump really high, or no, not even that. Like anime rules where like if a hero like in like a My Hero Academia, their power is they can float. That means they can also crash through walls without getting hurt. Or get beat the shit out of by someone that has super strength. You know what I mean? But she gets up. She's like, well, I'm a woozy. She does her best scream impression. I'm woozy. And then she falls down. And Peter Parker's like, what you doing, bro? Get up, because he's British. And his British accent comes out for that 1 second. He's like, what you doing, bruv? What's the female version of bruv? I don't know. And it's actually a legitimately sad scene. It's actually really well done, mainly because the acting of the two, Marissa Tomei and Tom Holland. Fantastic stuff. And she dies. And before she dies, though, as she's woozy, she does also tell him, with great power always comes great responsibility or something. So it was actually a pretty good way to tie that in, because of course, we haven't heard that yet for Tom Holland's character, and that's a big part of Spider-Man. It's a little weird now that Uncle Ben has way less to do, or has done way less now, because I just assumed Uncle Ben told him that at one point. We just never saw it, but now we know he never did. I was hoping that Peter would say once she said that, like that Uncle Ben used to tell me that all the time or something. He never said that. So now Uncle Ben has even less to do with his character. What the hell? Oh, it's my scratch. I forgot. I was like, what the hell's on my arm? I forgot my scratch was there. I got scratched last week. Anyway, this video's going too long. Okay, we gotta go. I said quick, but oh, my camera's shaking. Okay. All right. So that was a really sad scene, but right after that, we get Ned with his goofy big ass, who has a sling ring right now. Of course, the thing that Doctor Strange uses to help him open teleporters, or portals is what I want to say. And he has one, and he's like, oh, I need to find Peter. I don't know where he is. He's like sulking somewhere. He's crying. He's a little baby. And he didn't say that. And he's like trying to open a ring. And he opens one, and immediately we see a Spider-Man guy in the background, and he's like, "Hey!" And immediately, well, unless he got over Aunt May's death real quick, he wouldn't be like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And he wouldn't have his mask on right now. He'd probably be sulking somewhere. So you're like, "All right, so that's weird. Who the fuck is that?" Bam! Comes through the teleporter. Boom! Andrew Garfield. What's up, bitch? Yeah, he's in the goddamn movie. That was an amazing reveal. I fucking love it. I love it. And immediately after that, they of course have to do a joke where he's like, "Oh, Andrew Garfield, you're a Spider-Man too?" And he's like, "Yeah, look, I'm doing Spider-Man shit." He's like, "All right, could you clean the cobwebs in the corner?" He's like, "Oh, sure. There you go, got it." Which it's kind of funny, I guess, in retrospect. Like, you think, oh, he's gonna have an epic, like, he's gonna fucking do some action shit immediately. Like, no, he goes up and fucking cleans cobwebs out of a living room. He's like, all right, or I think it was a dining room, whatever. So yeah, that was a great reveal. But of course you're like, all right. Andrew Garfield is great. Don't get me wrong. I like him. I always did like him as Peter Parker. He's definitely not the least favorite thing in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. But where's Toby? So of course, Ned with his big funny ass is like, oh, well, let me try again. Ooh, I'm hungry or whatever. And he's like, where's Peter? Give me Peter. And he opens him another portal, and then you don't see his face at first, but you see him, and you're like, you know who the fuck it is. Walks through. It's Toby. It's my boy Toby. He walks through with that goofy ass smile. He looks great. I don't know. I think they did some special effects to him to make him a little bit less old, I guess. But they do mention that he grew up. Like a character later on does say like, "Wow, you've grown up, Peter." And he's like, "Yeah." And they even mention maybe like it's been a little while since Spider-Man 3, so it's like, there he is. There he is. My boy, in all his glory, and he has a great scene with Andrew Garfield too, where they almost have a fight because they're like, "Wait, you're not the Spider-Man I've been seeing on the TV, talking about how he murdered Mysterio or whatever." And they have like a quick little scene, and then after that point, it was my face was this the entire fucking rest of the movie. I'm not even kidding. The entire rest of the movie, I had a big, goofy, dumb fucking smile on my face the entire time. And I couldn't see my face, but I could tell you it was fucking goofy. Mainly because most of the time it's fucking goofy. So I couldn't. I was like, I can't. And there's times where you see all three of them on screen. I'm like, I can't believe this is fucking real. Look. Hey, you. I don't know who you are. Look. I even nudged my friend next to me, Gerard. I was like, I don't think he noticed I kept nudging him, but like, look, it's those three. You know them? Tom Holland and the other two? Come on. I'm a big Tom Holland fan. The other two are cool, but they finally got Tom Holland in here. It's like, Gore, Tom Holland's been in the movie the entire time. What? Anyway, so whenever they showed those three together, it was brilliant. It really was. I mean, I know. Nostalgia, all right, but they did it really well. I really do think they did it very, very well, and it hit a lot of emotional beats. Like they reference things from the Raimi movies, and they reference things from the Amazing Spider-Man movies that actually do well at establishing their characters at this point in time because they're older now. And I thought that was so well done. The only thing I would say that I wish was in it more, I wish Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire both interacted with the villains a little bit more. Because we get a really good scene with Doc Ock and Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. And I thought that was really, really good. There was just a quick scene. It was like, wow, you've grown. And at this point, Doc Ock is a good guy because he got the the inhibitor chip installed again. So at the end, he's like actually a good guy, Doc Ock. And he's like, wow, Peter, you've grown and stuff. And you could tell there's something there because, you know, Toby knows he dies sacrificing himself to stop his weapon or his machine. But that harnesses the sun. I need to watch Spider-Man 2 again. It's so fucking good. Watching Spider-Man 2 now would be like, it'd be a dream. I don't know why. It'd feel like a dream. It'd be like, wow, it's been 17 years since this movie came out, and Toby's still out there, you know, as this movie proves. I guess it's been 14 years since Spider-Man 3. I still like Spider-Man 3. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Oh, he dances goofy. Oh, he's a nerd pretending to be a fucking cool guy. What the fuck do you think he's going to? He's going to look awesome? Like, I get some people just don't like that scene, period, and feel like it shouldn't be in there. But if a nerd tries to act cool, that's exactly what it's going to look like. Right there. I always thought that was funny. You know? Anyway. So, yeah, so that was amazing. Everything after that was amazing. There's a scene where they're talking about like, oh, you're Spider, all right, you're Peter too, because they're all named Peter Parker, obviously. So it's a little confusing when they're calling things out, and they've never really worked as a team before. So like, you're Peter 2 and you're Peter 3, okay? And it's so good. And he's like, I love you guys, and Andrew Garfield just hugs both of them. I'm like, I wish this whole movie was this, honestly. Like, I wish that they went full on Spider-Verse, where like you not only. I mean, it's very similar to Spider-Verse. It takes a little while until you get all the Spider-Men in that movie. Or Spider-People, I guess. But I wish they almost did Spider-Verse where there's just a bunch of different Spider-Men. Like, not even just Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, just weird ones. You know, and I would love to see Spider-Ham. I don't know how they make that work in live action, but hey, they made, you know, Rocket Raccoon work. I mean, but raccoons are a little bit different than pigs. Get the pig from the movie Pig. There you go. That's it. There's an idea. But yeah, so you have a ton of great stuff with those three, but I just would love if they went like a little further. Like here's a Spider-Man that would have been cool if we got like a Miles Morales cameo. They do hint at Miles Morales at one point, but just anything. I'm not the filmmaker. You think of it, all right? But what we got was amazing. I'm not complaining at all. I love what we got. And we even got a little bit more than I was expecting with the Matt Murdock cameo and even something at the end, which we'll talk about at the end. Well, not the end, the mid-credit end. So yeah, so we have that scene. It's all set during the Statue of Liberty. Of course, that one shot at the end of the last trailer where you see Tom Holland, Spider-Man swinging up and about to fight the Sinister Three or whatever. There's only three of them at that point. But yeah, so obviously that part was edited. Everybody knew that, and it was. It's like you see Andrew and Toby at the same time fighting the others, while Tom Holland fights whoever. And it was great. And of course, that scene everybody guessed it too, which is like it was 100% obvious. Um, was when MJ falls and it looks like Tom Holland Spider-Man's about to catch her. He's not gonna be able to catch her, and then Andrew Garfield's gonna come in and save her at the last second and redeem himself for not being able to save Gwen in Amazing Spider-Man 2, and that's exactly what happened. But you know what? I thought that scene was great, but I thought the the point right after that where he actually starts to tear up was really good. I actually have to give a huge shout out to Andrew Garfield because Tobey Maguire, you could tell he hasn't been in this role in a little while. He's still great, don't get me wrong. He still feels like that character, but you could tell like he's not as, I guess, fresh into that role as Andrew Garfield. So Andrew Garfield still, it's only been what, 7 years since the last movie, where it's been 14 years since Spider-Man 3. He really gave it his all to really, like, I guess, I don't know, redeem himself, but he was still good in those movies. So I can't even say that. It's just like it was the movies themselves. It wasn't him. And I actually still like Amazing Spider-Man 1. It has like that one great crane shot or scene where he's like swinging with the cranes or whatever, which I thought was great. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, so this video went on way longer than I was expecting, obviously. Quick. You know what, to be fair, there's gonna be a lot of people out there that talk about this for hours. So this is quicker than, some other people. So at least you got that. But we're not done yet. We're not done. Okay, so they have all the great scenes, all that stuff. Of course, Willem Dafoe shows back up. He's like, Peter, ah! He's like, oh, I killed your Aunt May. Yeah, but it was your fault. Ah! And then Tom Holland's like, you fucking piece of shit. Because they already cured everybody else and about to send them home. But it's still Green Goblin. He's the only one that hasn't been cured. Tom Holland's filled with rage. He picks up Green Goblin's glider and is about to kill him, and then Tobey Maguire stops him. And I was like, oh my god, that's so fucking good. He stops the glider from piercing Green Goblin. It was so good. So good. And he stops. They don't even have like a conversation. They just stare at each other. And you know what's being said through that stare. And then, of course, Tobey Maguire gets killed. But no, I'm just kidding. He gets stabbed, which is fine. He says in the movie that he's been stabbed plenty of times. So he gets stabbed. I wasn't too worried. I was like, no, there's no way they're going to kill him like that. Yeah, he was fine. I mean, he was stabbed. He was hurt, but he was fine. And of course, Tom Holland completes his arc, I feel like, of fully becoming Spider-Man at that moment by curing Green Goblin and fixing all these villains and then sending them back to their multiverses or their universes or whatever. Then the last thing happens, which I give huge credit to the writers for even. I think, is John Watts also the writer? Well, whoever. I should have looked that up, honestly. But huge shout outs because I really like this ending where to fix this, because Doctor Strange is trying to fix the multiverse because it's all shattering around him and stuff. And people are coming in and stuff. And at one point I saw a big dude. And I was thinking, is that supposed to be the Thing from Fantastic Four? I don't know why I thought that. Let me know. I'm sure Heavy Spoilers or one of those channels fucking already did it. But like, is this the Thing? I don't know. But yeah, so everything's shattering. The universes are shattering around. I guess it's going to consume our universe or something. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, Tom Holland's just like, why is if we reverse this or we do the spell again? Because of course all this happened because of the spell. I didn't really need to mention that. Except make it so that everybody forgets me. Everybody. And he's like, that could work, and he does it. And at first I was like, Doctor Strange is probably gonna make it so like, actually no, I'll make it so MJ and his friend and me will still remember him. But no, everybody forgets him, and I give them huge credit for this. After Toby and Andrew go back to their universes, and all the villains go back to their universes, which, by the way, I think doesn't Andrew give like a nice peace sign to Tobey Maguire before dipping? I thought that was great. One of them does. I can't remember who. Which I always love deuces and then just fading away. It's like that meme. Isn't there a meme where someone just goes this and then just fades away? I feel like that's like one of those like, what is it called? Like one of those chat room things with the videos, whatever. There. where you just like randomly talk to somebody with a video camera. I don't know. Anyway, and then you do this and you zip. Oh, whatever. I've been watching too many memes. But yeah, it was a great moment because they go through it. They go through with it, and he's supposed to try to remind MJ and his friend Ned, big boy Ned, of who he is, but he goes and is about to, but he's like, you know what, this is probably for the best because I'm Spider-Man, and these people are. And he doesn't say this, and again, great communicating without actually talking. And he just like he doesn't tell them, he doesn't even try. He could probably build this relationship up again if he wanted to, but I guess you could say it's a combination of knowing that it won't be the same, and also him being Spider-Man. He's just like, I'm going to fully embrace the Spider-Man role, and I'm just not going to. I'm just going to stop here. I guess you could say this is a great way to end the Spider-Man series for the MCU, because nobody remembers who he is. Nobody does because of the spell, and also, I mean, he could just have. I mean, he fulfilled his arc. He's Spider-Man now, so now he's just doing Spider-Man stuff. I guess you could say that because this could be it. But I thought that was a great ending, and we got a new suit at the end, which is my favorite suit so far. It took this long to get to a suit that I love, and at the end, it's great. Love that new suit. Now let's talk about the post-credit scene, or I guess the mid-credit scene. Mid-credit scene. This is a big one. This is a big boy one. Immediately when it started, I was like, you just see like a shot of his hands. I'm like, this is gonna be Tom Hardy. This is gonna be Tom Hardy as Venom, because they have to clear that up, right? I mean, obviously. So he's there at a bar and he's talking about like how he got there. Of course, at the end of Venom 2, if you remember, or if you've seen it. If not, then at the end of Venom 2, he gets shoved into the MCU universe, because they're different universes. And he's like, oh, I don't know. So wait, what are you talking about? Like a Thanos? He's talking to a bartender. He's like, a Thanos guy, purple guy? What are you talking about? Oh no, aliens don't like stones. They like brains. And he's talking about Venom, obviously. So it's a nice little funny scene, him trying to catch up on what the hell's going on. And then he's like, all right, let's go talk to that Spider-Man guy. And then he zips out and he goes back to his universe because Doctor Strange obviously fixed everything. My one question with that, and we'll get to the really high part at the end, but my one question that just doesn't make any sense is that why was he there to begin with? Because they make it very clear that Doctor Strange says that only people that know who Peter Parker is shows up in this universe. They collide into this universe, right? So why the fuck was Venom there? He didn't know who the fuck. There's no Peter Parker in his universe. Who the fuck? There's no Spider-Man in his universe. How the fuck? Why did he show up? Anybody got an answer? I don't fucking know. Anyway, so I'm sure a lot of people were asking that question too, because I was just thinking like, that's weird. But it does hint at something coming up, and it's not even a hint. It might as well just say, yeah, Venom is staying in this universe, because I guess right before he left a little bit of Venom goo there, so a little bit of drip of Venom goo, and you just see it move a little bit, and you're like, oh shit. So I said it might be the end of Spider-Man with Tom Holland, but obviously that's not the case, because we gotta have Venom in there. Unless they've just put Venom in this universe somehow, and then maybe there's an Eddie Brock in this universe, and maybe he's played by somebody else. You know, maybe somebody, you know, Christian Bale. I was trying to think of like who else. I for some reason immediately my brain popped to Christian Bale. I don't know why, even though he's in the new Thor movie, so that's not gonna happen. Oh, you know what? Reason why I probably say Christian Bale is because he was also in Dark Knight Rises along with Tom Hardy. That's probably why. Michael Caine. He should be because he was also in Dark Knight Rises. Michael Caine, almost 90 years old. Now he's playing Eddie Brock. I'm Eddie Brock. I'm from Brooklyn. Can't you tell? Anyway, so that post-credit scene was good, but then the mid-credit scene was good. The post-credit scene was amazing. I was very surprised because I heard about a Doctor Strange trailer leak, and I was just like, oh, okay, so it's probably like a leak for a trailer. It's probably gonna come out in like a week or something. Like, let Spider-Man cool down, because Doctor Strange, next one comes out in May, right? So not too long of a period in between this one and that one. So having a trailer pretty quickly after Spider-Man is probably a good idea. So I was like, all right, cool, a leak. I was not expecting it to be the fucking final thing. When it starts, I was just like, wait, this is the fucking Doctor Strange trailer, because it was like it was edited like a trailer. It wasn't like a scene. So I was like, oh shit! And like it starts, I'm like, oh fuck, all right. That's what they're talking about, a leak. I wouldn't really call that a leak though. That means people just were filming it in the theater. I assume then. Everybody's talking about a fucking leak. How's that a leak if people were seeing it in a theater and then just recording it? A leak usually I think of is like, internal, like when it comes to the company, like someone, shot it in secret and then they leaked it out, where this is not a leak. A bunch of people already saw it, a bunch of regular people saw it, and then I guess it is considered a leak, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, that trailer was great. Ends with evil Doctor Strange. What's his name? Supreme Strange or something? Strange Supreme or whatever. Which was giving me What If vibes, obviously. And it was a really cool trailer. I love the Doctor Strange effects, by the way. That's another thing I should say. The effects in this movie were great, and everything Doctor Strange related was awesome. There was a whole set piece where Spider-Man's trying to stop Doctor Strange from, sending off the villains yet. Because we haven't had Toby or Andrew yet, so that you can't do that. So Doctor Strange really is the villain, actually, if you think about it, because he almost made it so that we didn't have Toby and Andrew in this. But yeah, so like that whole scene was great, and the scene at the end with Andrew, Toby, and Tom it was all great too. So there you go. That is my very short discussion video or spoiler talk. Yeah, I don't know why I thought this was gonna be short. I need to stop saying short, but I guess again, like I said before, that's probably the case because the next one's gonna be fucking long. Our spoiler talk's probably gonna be like 2 hours long. So this being a shorter one, more I don't know, digestible, I guess. Yeah, because it's shorter. Smaller, it means easily digestible, right? I don't fucking know what I'm saying. Anyway, I didn't really give it a score. I wasn't considering this a review, really, more just a spoiler talk. But if I had to give it a score, I still don't like a lot of the MCU humor. And I do feel like they could have done a little bit more with certain things, certain characters. But overall, great time. If I had to give a score, I guess I'd give an 8.5, 9 out of 10. It was a great time. I had a great time. It was so fucking good to see Andrew and especially Toby again. So there you go. That is that. I hope you enjoyed the review, spoiler this talk thing. Oh god, this movie was great. End the year off right.